What's going on, everyone? I'm Tanner, and this is Max.
What's up?
And welcome to episode 37 of The Rabbit Hole. Oh yeah, 37.
How many lucky numbers is that? That's 2 in a row.
We need to look up if 3 is lucky. We've had this discussion.
In hindsight, yeah, we definitely should have.
We never looked it up.
You know what? I'm going to Google it right now.
But that's 1 year plus 11. So if 1s are lucky, which they're not, I'm confident about that one. But if they were, then, you know.
The number 3 is considered lucky, according to Google.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does it say, like, in what culture or just in general?
I already closed the tab.
You don't have to look it up. I'm just curious. I know, like,
no, this one doesn't.
Like, some cultures have lucky numbers that other cultures don't. Like, I recently found out that I think 8 is a lucky Chinese number.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But 4 is unlucky.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the reason I was told is that apparently, like, in Chinese, when you say the number 4, it sounds like the word death, I guess. And the number 8 sounds like something like prosperity or something like that. It's like that's why they're lucky and unlucky.
Okay.
I don't know why like 7 and 3 are lucky numbers. But I always know like 7 because it's like casinos, right? The 777s and all that shit. I don't really know where that comes from.
3 7s? 3 and 7?
Dude, you're reaching.
Okay.
That would imply that it's only lucky because of casinos. Which could be a real reason.
Maybe they just made it up. Like, that'd be a
like 7's just lucky.
Yeah.
It fucking could be.
It could have.
Is 3, maybe 3 could be like the whole 3-leaf clover thing? That's the rare one, right?
No, it's a 4-leaf.
Oh, 4-leaf's the rare one. Why the fuck is 3 lucky?
I don't know.
Fuck 3.
According to Google, it's lucky.
I'm dying on the hill.
Gonna take it
I'm dying on the hill that 3 sucks as a number.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
I'm not going to fight you on this one. I don't feel strongly about that.
Okay. I don't either, but
all right, well,
I've made the decision.
I'm glad we've come to this arrangement.
I've made the decision. I'm going to stick to it. All right, so you're just drinking water today again, aren't you?
I'm a changed man. I
really think we went over this last
time. The evils of alcohol and have purged my soul of all things evil.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm drinking water because that is the purest form of keeping myself hydrated that I can think of.
Okay. Is that all you got? You done now?
Yeah.
Do you want to try a drink of mine?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Well, he's got water. I personally have a whiskey sour.
That looks good.
So that's fun. Yeah, I got a little ice ball in there. You can probably see the ice ball if I move my hand.
Smile for the camera.
Little ice ball. Big fan of the ice balls.
They're great. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love myself a big old ball. Oh, yeah.
So, on that note of showing things on camera, the last 2 episodes...
What? Don't.
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Not gonna quantify that.
Okay.
Or qualify that. Whatever.
What?
The last 2 episodes are finally uploaded. I did that this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I missed a week, but we're back.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully we'll soundtrack with this one. And we're recording super early because I'm going to be gone. So
yeah. I appreciate Max doing the YouTube stuff, though. He's got all the files on his computer. So it's like kind of just nothing I can really do.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't... We do it a really lazy way, so it doesn't take that long. You basically, I don't know, I spend like 15 minutes of video.
Still, though.
And then just hit like upload and process, and
it's still more work than I'm doing for it.
That's true.
My computer is like totally dicked. I don't know if I've ever told this story. Like in college.
I don't think so.
I watched I still do, but I pay for it now because I have money. But I watched like a lot of Champions League soccer. And one of my friends sent me this like Twitter account. I don't know what country they were from, but it was like, that's going to be really loud.
I know, I'm sorry.
As some Middle Eastern country, like, Twitter account, essentially. Like, it wasn't an account of the Twitter, but that's where the person was from. Okay. So everything was, like, in Arabic and all that. But the links were, like, they worked every time. Okay. Like, a lot of the other links I found, the Champions League does a really good job of not, like, shutting down streams.
Yeah.
Because they just make so much fucking money. So this dude found this Twitter, and he... like showed it to me, so I used it all the time. Sketchiest websites I've ever been to, though. So my computer has some serious viruses, but I got to watch the Champions League.
Yeah, it's definitely how my last computer got viruses, so I try not to do it with this one.
Yeah, like every time I talk about it, someone's like, "Were you watching porn?" I'm like, "No, it was soccer." That's what gave my computer all the viruses.
Listen, I'd tell you, but it was.
That's what I was like. I would say yes if the answer was yes, but it wasn't. It was soccer, like which is worse, I think somehow.
I don't know.
Like, it's almost worse, Because it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to just go pay for it.
You're going through such great lengths to watch it.
Just for free, because I had no money. Well, really, because I wanted to spend all the money I had at the bars. It was worth it, though. It was worth it, yeah, 100%. Now I just pay for it. But back then, everything I could do is, because $10 at our college bars.
That was, if you went on Fridays, 4 drinks? That could be 8.
If you went on,
with a tip?
Yeah, if you went on Friday, like early, that could be a lot.
Yeah, that could be 8 and a tip.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of drinks.
Yeah. So anyways, that is the story of why we chose Max's computer to house all of our things. Because we don't want all of it corrupted by mine. Usually, like, a couple times an episode, I have to, like, go close a tab because they'll just open randomly.
Oh, seriously? I didn't know that.
No, I do it all the time. That's why I like... Because before we started recording, my computer would be more turned. But I don't know if it can see my screen, but I just, like, do it like this. Because, like, every now and then, shit'll just pop up. It's never, like, a website. It just, like, opens a new tab. And it's usually just, like, some error, but, like, it's just easier to not have that distraction there. Anyways, that's the story of my computer.
Well, now we know.
And I'm not going to buy a new one because I don't really use it for anything but this.
No, I don't either. I was thinking about that not too long ago. I saw, like, some ad for a new computer. I was like, do I need one?
It's like, do I need to spend $1,200 on a computer? Because I would get a Mac again.
I would too.
Like, I wouldn't get anything else, but I don't need to spend that kind of money.
I'm a slut for Apple,
Same.
and I'm not going to defend them, but it's just, that's what I am.
I'm the same way. I recognize there's probably better laptops, but I want a Mac. Like, yep. So we can get into the episode now.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go introduce who you want to introduce? Oh, you need to plug. Have we plugged?
You guys know the drill. Follow us on Instagram at the.rabbitholepod. There you can find our links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the YouTubes. YouTube.
So, today's episode, I feel like we hinted at it last time, but we hadn't made a decision.
Yeah, we threw it out as a possibility.
Yeah, so it was kind of before we talked about the fact that you were going to be on next week, too. So that solidified it.
Yeah.
We're doing stupid theories again, if that's what you want to call
Ta-da.
them. Yeah, so we got 4 more. And Max just happened to pick the 2 that are definitely way longer than mine.
Yeah, I didn't think that one through.
Yeah, because we had 4 picked out, and I was like, which ones do you want to do? And he picked 2, and I was like, okay, I'll take the other 2. And as we're both doing research, I was like, there's not a lot of info on mine, it's just going to be discussion. And I see his shit, he's got like 6 paragraphs, and I'm like, oh, dude, I got like 1.
Yeah, mine were also like way longer than I expected.
Yeah.
So it really like doubled the effect.
Yeah.
I actually cut out a lot too. I really only included stuff that I thought was A, interesting, or B, like hilarious that I could respond to.
Yeah, like we have 6 pages. My 2 combined for like maybe a full page. And our little intro gets you like half to be generous. So Max has like 4.5 pages. Because it's just all discussion for mine. So, do we want to do back and forth? I do one, you do one?
Yeah, let's alternate.
Okay, cool.
Otherwise, it's going to be me talking for 45 minutes.
Mine are next to each other, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Which one should I do first?
I'll
let you decide which one I do first.
Second.
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first one that I'm going to do, which is the second one on my paper, is a kind of fun one, in my opinion. Did we mention this one on the last episode? I don't think we did. No, because I sent you a picture of it.
Yeah, I read that same article like...
Did you really?
An hour before you sent that to
That's
me.
hilarious. I kind of actually, when I was going through it, thought you might have. Because it was like the first one to pop up on Google if you search like stupid shit or whatever. So, I feel like everyone here probably is going to be able to remember back in 2016, I think, right?
Yep.
When that whole like killer clown shit was going on over the US, which was... a wild fucking time.
That was so out of, like, just
out of
so
nowhere.
out of pocket.
Yeah. Like, all of a sudden, it was just like, there's clowns committing crimes and no one knows why.
That was, like, right after, because that was in the fall, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't remember. We were at school, though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in the summer.
I had, like, just gotten to college. That was my freshman year.
Okay, well, then you would probably remember easier than me, then.
Yeah, so, like, I remember, like, walking across campus. Not that I was ever, like... Not that it was never an issue.
No.
But it was when it first happened. So I'd be like walking across campus at night because when else do you go to the bars? And, house parties.
I was just saying, you know the bars your freshman year. Not that I would care, but I was pretty sure you weren't.
I was not. And people would always be like, oh, like, watch out for killer clowns. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Dude, it literally came out of nowhere. We had 1 or 2 in our college.
Yeah.
Like, they were definitely jokes, though. They weren't actually doing anything sketchy. It was just people being idiots.
Yeah.
But the stupid, maybe not stupid, I don't know, the theory here, because I could see this being a thing, is that it all started as like a promotion or like marketing scheme for the movie It that came out in 2017. So that was, yeah, which wouldn't really shock me. It'd kind of be like a genius marketing scheme if like it hadn't gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
Because like no one suggests that like the crimes were part of it. The suggestions that like a promo started where people started dressing up as clowns, just being like creepy but not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then other people like took it and ran with it. And like,
I could see that.
Because I don't really know how far it went. I don't think anybody ever actually got like murdered, even though we all say like killer clowns. I don't know if there was really any like murders. I didn't look into it that much.
I was gonna ask if you could like find any.
I like briefly looked at it and I didn't find any like right off the bat, which makes me assume there probably wasn't any because I feel like that would be like
would have been more of a headline.
Yeah, what I found was like just the being creepy, like stalking people, but like criminally, like people actually like calling the cops because like this dude's been following me for like hours.
Like actual stalking.
Yeah, and then I saw another one that was like I guess there was a few cases where there was people dressed up as clowns trying to like lure kids into forests and vans and stuff like that. Like again, like that would not be a part of the promotions.
No.
That was like people taking that and running with it, if it's true that it even was a part of the promotion. But I kind of feel like that's a genius marketing scheme.
Yeah.
If it would not have gotten out of hand. I feel like because the what do you call them? Movie production company, I guess.
Yeah.
Like came out and was like, "Hey guys, like this wasn't us."
Whoa, all right, pump price.
Yeah. But I was like, you would have to say that though. Once it's already gotten out of hand,
yeah,
you would just have to deny it, even if it was you to begin with. Mm-hmm. But I think that'd be kind of genius. And I was like thinking, I was like, damn, what else could do a marketing scheme like that?
I feel like there's been. I'm trying to think. Like this whole time, I've been trying to think. I feel like I've heard of examples like that before, where some company pulls like a genius marketing move, and no one knows it's like advertising for a movie until the movie comes out.
Yeah. Or like until after it's all over and they like say it or something like that. I know, but I can't think of any.
Either.
But I know it's happened.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of like other things too, like outside of just movies that could do something like that as well. Like I don't know, like a paper towel company. If their mascot, like the big brawny dude,
yeah.
If they just send big ass brownie, just like walk around a Walmart, like and like knock shit out of people's hands and then like wipe it up with a brawny paper towel.
Dude, I saw this. This is super random. I saw this tweet or a TikTok the other day, and it was like suggesting a huge PR campaign for Charmin.
Okay.
And it was like
so it was the polar bears, right?
Yeah, the polar bears. But they were arguing the best way to get people to stop flopping in either soccer or the NBA was to have a Charmin Ultra Soft player of the game.
Oh my god, that'd actually be really funny. I would love that.
That'd be fucking amazing.
That'd be really amazing.
At the end of the year, when they do like all the MVP awards, they have the Charmin Ultra Soft Player of the Year.
The one that just like clearly flopped the most.
Yeah.
That'd be really fucking...
Or like bitch the most to the refs.
Yeah, that'd actually be really fucking funny. Because I feel like it would actually help too.
I think it would.
Like I feel like being called out like that with like an award would help.
Yeah.
Because people don't care if they get called as like a foul. They're like, I don't care. Like whatever. But if that shit happened, like...
You either have to stop pulling all that shit, or you lose all of your credibility,
or just like own it.
Yeah,
like
or,
sure.
Actually,
you could just own it. Like you go for that every year.
Yeah,
like that's my like niche.
If I can't get the MVP, Charmin Ultra Soft player.
Because yeah, exactly. It'd be some like mid-level player.
Yeah,
like they're not good, but they're good enough to be in like the NBA.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm just gonna be a bitch, and that's how I'm gonna like get my name out there.
What a way to go!
And either way, that'd still be good for Charmin.
It would, yeah.
Like, because if it would still work. Actually, that's really funny. You just come up with that, or you were like,
no, I saw it on TikTok.
Oh, you saw it on TikTok. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, did I not say that?
You might have. I was not paying attention.
Yeah.
I zone out sometimes. I was actually thinking that today during a meeting at work. I was like, paying attention, and then all of a sudden I caught myself like 5 minutes later just thinking about something completely different for like the last 5 minutes, and I was like, I should focus.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I was just like listening to a song in my head. I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to focus. Like, this is not good. But it's also like, I don't know.
That shit happens to me all the time.
Yeah. It was bad. I was like, fuck. Pay attention. Like, focus. And then I like focused for like 5 minutes. I was like, this is very simple information. I don't really need to pay attention for this. Like, and then I was like, back to zoning out.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
That's how my brain was like, back to watching TV in your head. Just fucking hilarious. Like, not hilarious, but like, the fact that it was also conscious cracked me up.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to go back to zoning out. Like, is it really zoning out if you do it on purpose?
No, it's like a vacation.
Yeah, it's like a daydream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You space out for 10 minutes a day. That's 40 minutes of paid vacation a year, or 40 hours of paid vacation a year.
You know, did you get that from a different statistic?
Yes.
Was it shitting at work?
It was.
I saw. Was that on Twitter or was it on TikTok?
Okay, so I've heard that. I saw that circulate on like iFunny back like forever
Oh,
ago.
I like just saw it like last week.
And then I saw it circulating again recently.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember where I saw it, but the moment you said that, I was like, I just saw something a lot like that.
Yeah.
But it was about, if you shit at work, if you work a 40-hour work week, like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you shit for 10 minutes a day, every day, you get a full 40-hour work week for shitting per year.
Yep.
But honestly, you get more than that because if you subtract like holidays and stuff like that, really you'd still get like the same amount of hours, I guess. But as a percentage, it's better? I don't know. Oh, no, it'd be the same, I suppose, because you also aren't shitting those days. So shit for longer. So shit for longer than 10 minutes. Well, you're not getting paid. Well, I guess you kind of get paid.
I don't know.
Man, things are getting complex. It's about to be linear algebra. Let's make a matrix. Do some matrix math.
Or
you
could just read the damn page.
It's done.
Oh, that's it?
I told you there wasn't information.
I thought that was way longer.
Like I googled the stuff that I looked up for this one especially. All it really was news articles about the production company denying that they were a part of it. That's what almost all of them were.
Yeah, they did line up suspiciously.
They lined up very suspiciously. And I mean, it wasn't that it was like a secret movie either, so it could be like other people just decided to do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could very much see that had been like a thing where they started it, and then when it got out of hand, they were like, shit.
Fuck.
We can never tell anyone.
No one can say.
They all have to sign like NDAs and stuff like that. Like, you can never say anything.
That's absolutely how that would end.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of that one. The other one's not a whole lot longer. It is longer though.
Yeah.
But it's not a whole lot longer.
All right, I can jump into this.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make a blanket apology. I don't know if people can hear my chair squeaking, but it's like really annoying me when I lean back and forth. So I'm sorry if you can hear it.
Don't lean back and forth.
I'm trying, man.
Along those same lines, I meant to put a little caveat at the beginning of the episode that I've had like a runny / stuffy nose for the last like day and a half.
You've got the vid.
So I'm gonna do. I don't think so, because I feel nothing else. So I was gonna say I'm gonna do my best not to like sniffle, but I've actually not had it since we started.
It's the whiskey. Clears you out.
Well, now that I said it, it's definitely gonna happen. But I'm gonna do my best. I meant to like put that right at the beginning. Like I'm really sorry if it happens, but like I'll try to like lean away from the mic. It could be. Maybe the whiskey helps.
Let's get into this. So, the one that I'm going to be talking about is people think the moon landing was fake.
It's because people are idiots.
Yep, it was fake. Now, Tanner's going to talk about our next topic.
So our next topic, the failings of the public school system.
That's not even a conspiracy.
That's just true.
Anyway, so I got to believe this is one most people have heard of.
I'm sure, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how many people believe it. I know, like, we both come from a very STEM-heavy education, so I think we're both very, like, pro-science in this case.
No, dude, fuck science.
I just make shit up every single day. And so this one actually would have been kind of a nice transition after the flat Earth one, because there's a lot of overlap between the two. Like, we can't get to the moon because there isn't a moon because it's a projection over the flat Earth. And shit like that.
Okay, so that's like a double conspiracy. People are flat earthers, and like because they're flat earthers, they also can't believe in the moon landing.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of overlap there.
That's stupid.
But I think
honestly, flat earthers are the dumbest humans on Earth, so that's okay. Like they can believe whatever they want. I don't need them to believe the moon landing happened.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of let them
because that means they'll never enter a STEM like building.
Yep. I'm not going to need to deal with them.
Yeah, which means I won't deal with them, exactly.
So I'm going to rattle off some details about why there might be some tomfoolery afoot on behalf of NASA. So first I'm going to talk about motives. This is, in my opinion, really the only point that would, like, sell a conspiracy like that.
Okay.
And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, you're not wrong.
But, like, yeah.
But, yeah.
Right.
So at least the first of these. So in the height of the space race, the Soviet Union and the US were pretty head-to-head in most of it. But with that said, the Soviets actually made quite a few of the first milestones first.
But we won, though.
But we won. USA. Anyway, so like, for example, the...
Soviets.
Totally lost where I was at.
Soviets.
Yeah, Soviets had.
I don't know where you're at, but I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
Do you want me to just say it?
Say it.
First satellite, first man in space. They sent an animal to space, too. I don't know if you put that one on there, though.
I didn't have that one on there.
Okay,
yeah.
I know they sent... Was it a dog?
Yeah.
Or a monkey?
I think it was a dog.
Did we send a monkey? Or am I making that up?
No,
that
we
might be
sent
from a cartoon.
chimpanzees because they were like more similar to
Isn't
humans,
that a
quote
monkey?
unquote. Yeah.
Okay.
Blank
I don't
insane.
know. Yeah. What does she got?
I'm trying to remember that dog's name now. It was like Laika or something.
Spetska. I don't know. Just sounds Russian.
Like you start with a consonant and then you sneeze.
And then there's a Z in there and a hard K.
And then like one of those things that looks like an R but is like a backwards.
I don't know what the fuck they are.
I don't know. Anyway, so the U.S. kind of had to like hype up their accomplishments to save space race.
What else did they have? Did I miss anything?
What did I write down? So they...
Oh, I found it. First satellite. I had first man in space.
I was way past that.
First lunar probe. I didn't have first lunar probe. Okay.
Yeah.
Probe. Classic.
Yeah, so the U.S. kind of had to hype up their accomplishments and like really add some asterisks to it because the Soviet Union had the first man in space, but the U.S. came along and were like, well, we were the first people to have it orbit the Earth. And shit like that. Yes, there
like
was always
technicalities.
Like a qualifier.
Right,
exactly.
right.
And so while all this was going on, people were scared that the Soviets might beat us to the moon. And some fucker named JFK had to like go and throw that challenge out there. And
you can't say that. He was murdered.
Yeah.
You can only say that if they weren't assassinated.
Yeah. Is that the rule?
I think so.
Okay, I'll do better.
Well, there's only like 3 of them or 4 of them. I think it's 4.
I thought it was 5.
Is it 5?
Is it 4?
I don't know, dude.
I'm not going to remember them.
No, I remember 2.
Yep. So anyway, other motives. Basically, the argument there is the U.S. was scared that the Soviets would beat us to the moon. So they staged it all to really just like cheat their way to it and end the space race. And with that one, I'm like, I can see your point.
Yeah, right.
But no.
Yeah.
Other motives I've seen were that NASA wanted to secure funding, but they weren't sure that they could make it to the moon. And they knew that if they failed, their budget would be cut. Okay. So they just manufactured the whole thing. And another was that the U.S. wanted to distract its citizens from the unpopular Vietnam War.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like what you're saying here, that they're not wrong about, like, a motive, but I don't think that definitely didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, you're not wrong that NASA probably wanted money, and if they had fucked up the moon landing, they probably would have had their budget cut.
Yeah.
But I don't think they went and faked the whole thing for that purpose.
Yeah.
Because if they faked the whole thing as to not have their budget cut, they would still want to go to the moon. So we would have went again. Well, we did, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I totally agree. So now I'm going to get into some of the specifics of like specific conspiracies. Basically, the moon didn't happen, and here are like some reasons why people think that.
Happen.
There isn't a moon.
There's not even a moon.
You've been lied to.
Moon?
So in the topic of photographs and film oddities, quote unquote, this is a big focus of a lot of the conspiracies. So photography experts have asserted that this should be expected from a moon landing for a lot of this.
Never mind, I take my quotes back. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, but you know, this is we can't have nice things.
Right.
So some people point out that number one, in some photos, the camera crosshairs seem to be like behind objects. Okay. So they're kind of washed out near specifically white objects.
Okay.
And people think that this is a result of like copy and pasting. Basically, it's literally like cutting out paper and pasting it onto a page and then like photocopying it back then.
Okay.
So they think that was what happened. So the skills aren't like up to par with today's Photoshop. And that's a result of like the missing crosshairs are a result of objects being placed over the picture after the fact. That was such a tumultuous explanation. But
right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that happened.
No. But that's like
if they were going to fake it, they wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah. So, rebuttal. The effects only appears in copies and not originals, and it's caused by overexposure in analog copying methods. It's basically you just take the film and develop it again.
Okay.
Actually, don't quote me on that.
I wouldn't. I don't know anything about photography, so
I hope
you could
nobody
say
listens
anything.
to photography. Or nobody pays attention to that.
I hope no one listens to photographs.
Yeah, no one listens to photographs.
It just sounds like fucking nuts.
Dude, I hit record and my IQ drops like 40 points, I swear.
I wish mine could drop that far.
You bottom out.
Yeah. No, like 25.
And so in some examples of this, like there's a few famous examples, and one is a picture of a spacesuit, and the other is a picture of the American flag.
Okay.
And the crosshairs are just washed out over the white parts. So, like, the backpack on the spaceman, on the astronaut.
Spaceman.
Spaceman. The backpack
Are
is like
you
a little...
okay?
No.
Jesus, dude. The backpack on the spaceman.
The life support unit on the back of the astronaut. The crosshair like goes across it, and it's really washed out there.
Okay.
And people are like, oh, they copied and pasted it, but you can see it on like the other part of the astronaut. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then with the American flag, it's even more asinine example. Like, if you're gonna fake it, you can just put an American flag in the photo.
Right.
You don't need to copy and paste red stripes onto or white stripes onto a red flag.
There's plenty of American flags hanging around at NASA. They could just fucking grab one.
Yeah. So that is literally just a result of overexposure in copies.
People are dumb.
Also, the originals that NASA published don't have that effect.
So we're fucking clear.
Yep.
People are just idiots.
Yep. Number 2, crosshairs are sometimes rotated or out of place.
Okay.
Rebuttal: you crop your Instagram photos to flex on people. Why can't the U.S. flex on Russia?
It's fair.
They cropped almost all of them and like rotated them out after the fact. Probably just messed up a little bit.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
Also, like, maybe the camera work probably wasn't perfect.
No, you have an astronaut wearing a fucking... I don't even know how much they weigh.
A lot.
They've got to be fucking heavy as shit.
Yeah,
have
it's
you seen
a lot.
the gloves on there? They're like fucking polar bear claws.
Like, I think the backpack itself is like 70 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, that would check out.
I think I read that somewhere.
That makes sense.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
Like, and you're in fucking...
And you have fucking giant ass gloves.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect anyone to take.
You're in like low G as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is on the moon, but it's low.
It's like one
a third or
sixth
something, like 1/6
of the gravity of the Earth.
Yeah. So like things are just weird. Like
Yep. Next, number 3. Quality of the photos is implausibly high. Rebuttal: you take a ton of Instagram photos and only post the best ones. Why can't NASA do the same shit?
Also, it's NASA.
It's fucking
they
NASA.
Probably had the best cameras in the world.
Yeah, that was
up
another
there.
thing. That was like when.
Oh yeah, I hadn't read that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, they used like the newest Carl Zeiss lenses on the camera or on the market at the time.
But of course they did. Like, why is that shocking?
No, it was literally the best on the market. We spent how many millions of dollars to get a rocket to the fucking moon?
We're gonna take a
we
good
can buy
camera.
a camera.
And we're gonna take a good one.
Yeah.
Because we want to get good pictures.
Yeah. Number 4. There are no stars in the moon photos. This one, like, kind of got me reading in, like, a clickbait fashion. Because I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never actually noticed that.
Yeah, me neither.
And this is because NASA, or the conspiracy is that NASA didn't put stars in the photo studio where it was allegedly faked.
Okay.
Because they didn't want astronomers figuring out that it was fake based on star positioning.
Okay, so I haven't read your rebuttal yet. I don't know if it's in there. It's probably not. But it's NASA. They have expert, like, astronomers who would have known where to put the stars if they were going to fake it. That's, like, my first thought is it's, like, every single one goes back to it's fucking NASA.
Yeah.
Especially NASA in the 70s.
Oh my god, yeah.
They had so much fucking money and so many really smart people, honestly, worked at NASA. Like, they would have been able to just figure out where the stars needed to be for it to be real.
We got the rocket to the moon with fucking slide rulers, and I'm over here at my job like, shit, let me double check, like 2 + 7. Okay,
Right.
it is 9, all right?
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
Just to be safe. Hey, man, you never know.
Yeah. So this rebuttal, first of all, yeah, like I said, it was interesting. But the Apollo astronauts post-mission also claimed that they didn't see them either.
Oh.
And just from like the naked eye in the sunlight. But they do claim to have seen the stars during orbit and flight to and from the moon. So what that comes down to is, since all of the crewed landings were during the day, the camera exposure in question was set for extreme sunlight, so there's no way the stars would have shown up.
Right.
Similarly, like if you take a picture like at a bonfire or something.
Right.
With most cameras, like if you have a really high grade one and you're set for it, then
Yeah,
fine.
you adjust the settings.
But like if you take a picture of your friends, you're not going to see stars above because the exposure isn't good
right.
enough.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And obviously Earth has an atmosphere, so it's compounded, but like during the day you can't see stars.
Yeah.
So that same effect, it was all just washed out. On top of that, actually no, I'll get into that later.
Okay.
So,
for sure.
yeah. It was set for extreme sunlight. And there's no way that the camera would have picked it up anyway.
Okay, cool.
Now,
Cool.
This is a good one. There were too many photos taken.
How is that a conspiracy?
Because
They went to the moon. You're gonna take photos.
Yeah. They came back with too many. So my rebuttal, first of all, shut up.
You guys took too many pictures of this amazing fucking thing you did.
Yeah. And so the cameras, the Apollo crew, actually somebody wrote out like an argument. They took the time out of their day to research this and type it up. And they were like, cameras in that time took like 30 seconds to take a picture. And like there wasn't enough time on the moon to take that many.
Oh my God.
And going back to the same argument of like NASA can afford cameras. And the ones that NASA actually like responded to this because they were just bombarded with theories.
Yeah.
Like at one point, the second it caught on, everyone had an opinion.
Right.
And NASA responded to this and said, "Listen, the cameras manufactured, like in conjunction with Carl Zeiss, they manufactured the cameras.
Okay.
They could take a picture. I think they said like 30 a minute. So whenever no, I wrote this down. Oh, every half second. So
every half a second?
Yeah, if you're just rattling them off, that's 120 a minute.
Yeah.
Even if you're not there that long. Bottom line, NASA like took the time out of their budget time and resources out of their budget to respond to this. And we're listen, we can take pictures.
Because again, like it comes down to it's fucking NASA.
Yeah.
They could. Like,
yep.
Of course they could. And I love how so many of these conspiracy theories are just people that aren't willing to actually look anything up.
Yeah.
They're just like, you know what? They have a lot of pictures. I think that's a conspiracy. Whereas if you would just like looked into it, you could probably have found out that they had really nice cameras for the time. Yeah,
one of them, this conspiracy theorist took the time to like do the math on how often this camera could take or how fast this camera could take pictures, and he like narrowed down to a model. And NASA was like, sure, but we didn't use that one.
Yeah.
And who has the time for this shit?
I don't know.
All right, number 6. The photos contain artifacts that aren't natural. For example, in one picture, it looks like there's a C stamped on a rock, suggesting it could be labeled like a studio prop. Which, there's another one that was like, okay, you have my curiosity. But this one, there's actually not a super clear explanation for.
Okay, did you see the picture?
I did.
Is it like an obvious C, or like, that might be a C?
It's shaped like a C, but it doesn't look like a clear label or something.
Okay, yeah.
And it almost looks like it's superimposed over it. So the theory is that it's probably either a printing imperfection or one of the more popular ones is maybe it's like a hair on the lens or something, or it got mixed into like the film when it was being processed. It was just like a curled hair, like an eyebrow or something.
Sure.
So this one I actually don't really have a great rebuttal for. So conspiracy 1, science 6.
I'm taking science.
Number 7. This might be my favorite.
Okay.
So
lucky number 7.
In the entire 20th century, what do you think the most televised event was?
I mean,
give me a couple. Just rattle them off.
Okay, I mean, I would think the moon landing.
Yep.
Probably some World Cup.
Oh, maybe that's a good one.
Yeah. What else happened that we would have had like film? You mean like live?
Yeah.
Okay. What else fucking happened?
I was thinking maybe like some famous presidential speech, maybe at like the height of World War II. Or
yeah, I was gonna say something about World War II, but I don't know. Like,
V-Day?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but my
point
point is
something like that.
Yeah, my point is the moon landing easily makes that list.
Right.
So worldwide, everybody was watching this, and there was one woman in Perth, Australia, who claims she saw a Coca-Cola bottle rolling across a corner of the screen while she was watching a live broadcast.
And no one else noticed.
Nope.
Just her.
Just her.
Okay.
And she's been so fucking adamant about this. She like sprayed this all over the world. Like, I saw a Coca-Cola bottle. No one else corroborated this.
Probably the most watched live event in history.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yep. But
maybe I'm wrong.
One woman saw a Coca-Cola
maybe I'm
bottle.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure it probably is. At least adjusted for population of the world.
Yeah, like, as in like per capita or percentage.
Right.
Yeah,
Had to be, right? Because people in every country are watching this shit.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. So yeah, no one else noticed that, and it's not on any of the recordings.
Nope.
So this leads me to conclude that bitches be tripping.
She's probably high.
Yeah. So that wraps up the photo segment.
Okay.
Moving on to environmental concerns.
Here we go.
Yeah. There's so many of these. I didn't include a lot.
Okay.
So, number 1. Astronauts could not have survived the trip due to the Van Allen radiation belts. Rebuttal. space shoots and spaceships.
Space shoots?
Space shoots.
Space
suits.
Space suits and space
spaceships. Yes.
Yeah, you mean specifically designed for this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that NASA thought about stuff.
Yeah, wild, right?
Really, for real.
Yeah. So both have significant radiation shielding, and they spent very little time actually inside the radiation belts. Like at that velocity, the radiation belts are comparably thin. So when compared to the distance between the Earth and the Moon, they would have only spent about half an hour inside of the first one. Or, sorry, a few minutes inside of the first one, and then an hour and a half in the second one.
Yeah, but they had hella radiation shielding, because they knew it.
And it was shielded.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, radiation would have fogged the camera film. If only we had a space agency that thought this shit through.
It's NASA.
Yeah. And so, yes, it would have, but NASA had specifically designed metal film canisters that they put the film in.
Right.
And God forbid that shit works.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, the radiation also isn't, like, obscenely strong, so just aluminum shielding was enough.
Right.
And they didn't spend that much time in it. Like, you can spend more time than that in the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Yeah, right.
And so that's that. Number three, the moon's surface would have been too hot to use cameras.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now, this one also got me interested.
Okay.
So without going too far into physics and heat transfer, I think I texted you. Like,
You did,
I'm down a rabbit hole. You were like, thermodynamics right now.
I'm very deep into thermo.
Yeah. And so, anyway, without like nerding out too much, I'll try to get my spark notes across. It's important to note that the moon has no atmosphere. Like, there's no oxygen, there's not even gases like most planets, just no atmosphere at all. And which means the only form of heat transfer is radiation. So you have to physically be touching something in order to conduct heat, or it's literal radiation from the sun.
Right.
So you're not going to feel like a warm breeze or anything.
Right. Okay.
So that means that it had like a camera would have to be sitting out, and enough heat would be conducted through just radiation to melt it, which is not the case. So on the lunar surface, it does actually get very, very hot during the day, but just the surface. So it's like I would compare it to like walking through a hot parking lot.
Okay.
Like the pavement's hot as shit.
Right.
But if you have shoes on, like your skin isn't melting.
Right.
And
these motherfuckers had whole ass suits on.
Whole ass space suits.
Again, specifically designed for this.
Yeah.
They knew about this stuff.
Yeah. So in terms of anything off the ground, it would have actually been pretty mild.
Yeah.
On top of that, most of the lunar landings were right after the lunar sunrise, so the ground didn't even have that much time to heat up. So all of those things combined, they basically would have had to leave the cameras on the ground
For a while.
for an extended period of time over solar noon for them to even warm up. So this one got me reading, but not actually a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
All right. Number 4.
Okay.
Astronauts couldn't have survived a solar flare.
Were there solar flares while they were up there?
No.
Oh.
Number 5.
Okay. Why was that why did anyone say that?
I think people were just like looking for an excuse.
Okay.
And NASA was like, yeah, that would be challenging. Good thing there weren't solar flares.
Right. Like there weren't any.
Yeah.
While they were up there.
Yeah. Also, they probably could have survived a solar flare.
Sure.
Like with the shielding in their spacecraft.
Yeah.
That's less of because they vary so much in intensity. That's less of like a certain thing, but still likely.
If they were
in
fine. This ship, they probably could have survived it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very subjective, and there's a lot of variables, but that's the consensus.
But either way, there wasn't one.
Either way, yeah. Bottom line, there wasn't one.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Number 5. So this is maybe the most famous one. At the very least, the only one of these that I've heard of.
Okay.
And that is the flag looks like it flutters on the moon.
Okay.
And NASA and I literally just said there's no atmosphere.
Wind.
Meaning you can't have any wind.
Right.
So what the fuck? And this one, all it takes is just like looking really closely at 2 of the pictures that are in question and like putting one over another, like overhead style.
Okay.
If you make like a GIF, but like switching between the 2, the issue is the astronaut moves a little bit.
Okay.
And so it shifts the exposure a little bit. And so if you actually compare the 2 side by side, flag's not moving.
Yeah.
Like I can if you actually look at the picture that people call out, they're like, it moved. No, it didn't.
Right.
The lighting is just a little bit different.
Yeah. People are stupid.
Yep. So the flag actually lines up perfectly. Last one I'll go into, last category,
Okay.
is mechanical issues or mechanical, like, physical. I don't even know like what to describe.
Okay.
The realm of like physical physics. We'll call it physics.
Physics.
Yeah, physics. All right. So the first one, there are no blast craters. This one also really got me interesting.
Okay.
And this is true. There are no blast craters, but that doesn't mean that we faked a moon landing.
Sure.
So, again, without nerding out way too much, since the moon has roughly 1/6 of the gravity on the Earth, the module wasn't descending that quickly, and it was also throttled down as it got closer. So they did like a deceleration burn to slowly drop to the surface, and by the time they throttled it down and it actually hit the surface, the exhaust pressure was only like 1.5 psi.
That's pretty fucking low.
Which is roughly 1/9 of just the Earth's atmospheric pressure.
Okay.
So it's like somebody like, I don't know, blowing like towards you.
Poke. Yeah, like literally nothing.
Yeah. And so it's also in a vacuum, because there's no atmosphere.
Right.
Which means that the exhaust gases don't disperse just in a jet. They disperse a lot more rapidly.
Yeah.
It's like spraying an aerosol can. They don't just go in one direction. They just disperse anywhere that there's not matter. So everywhere in a vacuum.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of fine dust scattered from the breeze, but it didn't actually carve out a crater. And you can actually see a lot of the dust in both the takeoff videos, in some of the later missions they left a camera behind.
Yeah.
And then in the immediate photos after they landed and got out. There's a lot of dust in there.
It's a big, like, not that it was an issue, but it was a big thing that, like, if you know about that stuff, like, dust was not, like, it wasn't a problem, but it was something they knew about and, like, planned for, I guess. Because as they got close, like, they kicked up a lot of dust, which made it harder to land.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a lot for not to go into like a full-blown physics lecture. But second one that I have is the second stage rockets and the lunar landers had no visible flame.
Okay.
Which is also true. But this is literally just used due to the type of propellant that they used.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a problem.
Yeah, so they were hypergolic fuels, meaning one was like a fuel and one was an oxidizer. You mix them together and they just ignite. You don't need a spark or anything.
Yeah.
So there was no like flame to ignite it. And then the two fuels that they used burned almost transparently. So the exhaust plume is nearly transparent, which doesn't necessarily indicate that there wasn't actually like a rocket engine going on. A good example of this is the American Titan II rockets earlier on in the space program, and they used the same type of fuel, and in all of those launch photos, it's like the same type of flame where you have to like squint to see it.
You can,
and really the only thing you see is like the distortion from the heat.
Yeah, as you say, it's not like a plume. It's literally just the heat distortion.
Yeah. So there were a couple more. Like one was like, there was no way the AC could have worked in the spacesuits. And it's like, you're not a rocket scientist. Yes, it can. And a couple others like, oh, there's footprints on the moon, but there shouldn't be, and shit like that. I picked the ones that I thought were interesting.
Yeah.
And for the sake of not having like a 2-hour podcast on why I think moon physics are cool.
I feel like it's not as much as like we could talk about and like nerdy shit like that all day long. I think it's not that interesting because both of us have literally no chance of ever like siding with the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of the other ones we talk about, like it's interesting because it's like I don't really know, like maybe it's true, but with these ones it's like we just be like we'd say something and then be like wrong.
First of all, no.
Yeah, like so I feel like it wouldn't be interesting as like an entire episode in itself. But that's like, that's my opinion because people have asked us to the moon landing before, and it's like, it's really hard for me to do a full, like, hour and a half episode just on something I just think is stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to, like, get these, and my next one, too, especially. That's why I want to get these out of the way, just like a kind of a BS episode.
Should I jump into my second one?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, we kind of briefly mentioned this one in the last episode, or maybe I did just briefly, when we were kind of dicking around, like, at the end there. People, I don't know if people listen to that part or not, because
I have no idea.
Again, like we talked about this last time too, I don't listen to that on a lot of the podcasts I listen to. The moment the story's done, I just kind of like end it.
Yeah, I've had people tell me that they didn't like this podcast because we just like bullshit too much at the beginning, and then I've had people tell me that they think it's entertaining.
Yeah, I've heard like
I'm just gonna do whatever.
I've heard like positive reviews that it's not just like podcast starts, story, podcast ends.
Yeah, it's like
it's a little bit more like
give a good example. It's informal. Like very just straight storytelling at that point. Like a lot of like the true crime ones, like just the pure true crime ones.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of those. Like I listen to like comedy, true crime podcasts where it's like they talk about shit that's like like we do. It's like very off topic, but it's funny. But like they get through the shit as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So like at the end when we were kind of like dicking around, we talked about this a little bit, or just like mentioned it. But eventually, it's like how big corporations have possibly found cures for things like cancer and AIDS and other like really serious medical issues, but they don't publicize it or sell it or anything like that for profit, essentially, like because of profits. So the theory is that like they make more money by treating it. So with like the drugs and like so for cancer, for instance, like chemo, like all the things that they do, because there's also I think you do chemo like and like pills and shit like that too. I think.
Yeah, you can do fucking all sorts of shit for cancer.
Yeah, like but so the idea is that like, and whether or not you think the conspiracy is true, it's probably true. They make more money off. They would make more money off of it, unless they charge a fucking absurd amount for the cure.
Yeah,
but either way, like that part's probably true.
Yeah,
whether or not they have it and haven't publicized it is like a whole other story.
Yeah,
but they would make more money off of treating
Absolutely.
it. They make so much money off of that.
And a good example of that actually is what was it called? The Ford Pinto.
Yeah,
they had gas tanks like right at the back, so you could get rear-ended in a pretty mild collision, and your car would burst into flames.
Yeah, that was like a very common issue with those cars, and people knew about it too.
Yeah, and
it was Ford knew about it is the bigger one,
and Ford elected not to fix it. I think they just like ended production of it instead.
Eventually, they just stopped.
But they elected not to fix it because they found that it was cheaper to just pay off the lawsuits than to actually recall the vehicles.
Yeah. Which is wild because when cars are exploding, they essentially made the calculation of like, what's more important, our profits or people's lives? And unsurprisingly, they said our profits.
Yep.
Like, because I'm sure people died from those crashes.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure like some of the lawsuits that they were like, it's cheaper to pay these off, weren't injury lawsuits, they were death lawsuits.
Yeah.
And they just said, fuck it, it's still cheaper.
That's actually another conspiracy I've heard too is like the brace position in airlines that they have on like the seatback cards is designed to break your neck because it's cheaper to pay a death settlement than an injury settlement.
Yeah. So I think they tell you to like tuck your head like down, like put it against the seat in front of you, I think.
Yeah, you like put your arms up here and then your neck.
Yeah, there's
like
a theory
rest your head on it.
A theory that's like the most likely position to break your neck.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper to pay off that shit than it is for like 100 people to sue you for the injuries they got.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I would believe that. I don't know if it's true. So like if you're ever in a plane crash, don't just be like, I'm not going to do that because I heard it's going to break my neck. We could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I would believe that.
I'm going to, again, emphasize it is a conspiracy.
Yeah,
but it makes you think.
In a similar vein, I was reading something the other day actually about like how the safest way to seat passengers on an airliner is actually facing backwards.
Yeah.
So that when you crash, because typically when you crash, you go nose down.
Yep.
You're kind of like just going against the seat as opposed to like getting ripped forward and all that stuff. And the reason that they seat you forward is like just for comfort, because people would be like, I don't know, like weirded out, I guess, by sitting backwards.
Yeah, I would actually believe that.
I don't really know if that's a conspiracy. It wasn't like stated as a conspiracy. It was kind of stated as like a fact. Like, this is like a thing, but they do it like this because people don't like being backwards.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. That is something that I would believe, though.
I'd believe that, yeah. Like, but that's not really they'd rather you die. That's more just like people's comfort is important to them.
Yeah.
And they decided it's more important to the people than safety.
Yeah.
The airline decided that because they get to make those decisions.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, anyways, back to the disease thing, I guess. I don't know what to call it.
Sure.
So this kind of ties into, people probably heard this term, it ties into like the big pharma discussion a little bit. Because they'd be involved. They may not be the whole thing, but they'd be involved.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I want to throw a couple more things out there that I actually saw that I had never really thought of, I guess. But like, I see where they're coming from. Like in the whole big pharma, like cures exist, whatever. And then we can talk about it if we want to. So like one of the things that I haven't really thought to myself before, but that I found when I was kind of like looking into the whole shit, was that there's also like a theory that not only do they have cures and like hide them to make more money off of treatment, but that they actually like on purpose worsen or even create some of these diseases in order to profit off of the treatment. And I was like, damn, that would not really surprise me either, to be honest with you. Because medical corporations in America specifically are fucking evil. Like, they are fully about profit.
Yeah,
because of the system that they're in.
Yeah, the trade-off between basically how much money to make versus how many people you can save.
Right.
And every single time they choose fucking money.
They would take the money, for sure.
Yeah.
So, not that I was dying by any means, but like as an interesting example, I went to an ER like maybe even a year ago at this point because I was having like an allergic reaction to some food I ate. And essentially what started happening is like my hands started like swelling up and my face started swelling up. And I'm allergic to like one other thing that does the same exact thing to me, and eventually that that other one that I already knew I had will cause my throat to swell up. And this one was kind of starting the same. So I was like, let's go to the ER because I don't want that to happen. It might not necessarily, because with the other one it doesn't always happen. Like it's never really gotten to that point, but like doctors have said like it could if it goes untreated or if you're exposed to too much of it.
Sure.
And this was going on the same path. So I went to an ER, and basically they gave me like a steroid and 2 like essentially Benadryl, but like medical grade Benadryl, like strong as fuck.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what they gave me. So it was 3 pills, and they were like, I stayed there for a little bit. They were just to make sure, and then I left. And luckily, we had pretty good insurance where we work, which is nice. But they sent me a bill because I guess the doctor that treated me wasn't participating.
Of course.
But my insurance still like paid it. Like they sent me a check, which was nice. Yeah. But the bill was $700 for 3 pills and like half an hour in a. I wasn't even in a room. I was literally behind a curtain on a bed. Like, it wasn't even its own room. Not that I needed the room.
Yeah.
But, like, $700.
Yep.
So, the fact that a company in the medical business would create a disease to make profit wouldn't shock me at all.
No, absolutely not.
It's so stupid how expensive stuff is here. It's like, you have enough money. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
Because imagine someone that goes in there for something serious. They gave me 3 pills. And it was $700. You go in there for something else, like it's gonna be thousands, like 5 figures easily if you spend a couple hours in the ER for something real.
So my insurance covered a lot of it, but the total bill for my wisdom teeth surgery, I was in the building for less than 90 minutes. Like walking in, filling out all the paperwork to walking out, less than 90 minutes, and it was like $3,500.
Yep, it's fucking stupid, dude.
Yep.
It's ridiculous, and that's like a dentist too. Like not that they're cheap either.
Yeah,
but like hospitals are even worse.
Yeah, I can't imagine an ER.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
surge pricing.
I've been injured a few times in my life. I've never seen the medical bills. I gotta believe it wasn't good.
Oh god, no.
But luckily, again, like you and I and my parents as well, we have like pretty good health insurance, so they were probably okay. But I became an adult, and I was like, damn, I kind of feel bad.
Yeah, right.
That I got hurt.
I'm sorry, I was such a burden.
I was like, fuck, that a good amount of it probably got paid off for me. I was like, fuck, that's a lot of money. Like. I'd be pissed, dude, if I had a kid and they, like, break their bone or something, I got to take them to the ER. Coming out of your college fund.
I have this much money set aside for your college fund.
Yeah.
Every time I have to step foot in a hospital, I take some out.
That's on you, brother. Like, have fun with your student loans.
Have fun with community college.
Yeah. So, along with that idea that they, like, actually create them, a lot of people also say that there's, like, natural alternatives to like, a lot of the drugs that they sell.
Okay.
But they, like, keep those secret because, like, manufacturing the drugs that they make is really cheap. And they sell them at, like, super spiked prices. Whereas, like, to make the natural one, like, accessible in a way you can take it would cost a lot more money. So basically, to keep their, like, cost to profit ratio better, they, like, hide that there's natural remedies to, like, serious health issues.
Yeah.
And also, let's be honest, a lot of their drugs aren't that effective. They kind of just, like, stave it off. Like push it back a little bit, and there's also like the idea that like that's also kind of on purpose. They could make them better, but they don't, so that you have to keep buying them. As opposed to like you buy 1 bottle, you take it and you're like cured. Like no, let's make it less effective so that you have to end up buying 10 bottles to be done.
Yeah,
instead of 1.
Treatment is more expensive than cures.
Yeah, so like even if it eventually is like a cure, like they still make them less effective so that you have to like they draw out like your profit essentially as a person. So it's basically just like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
That like is continuing on. Like they make bad drugs so that you have to. So if it's all true, they create a disease that you get. They make ineffective drugs so that you have to keep taking the drugs so that you keep giving them money. And then it's just like, goes around, like, oh, new disease that we created and we're not going to help you solve. But yeah, so, like, regardless of the truth behind all of that, it's not a secret that pharmaceutical companies do, like, sketchy-ass shit to make money.
Nope.
And not to mention, the U.S. is also, like, the only country that I know of that allows commercials and advertisements for prescription drugs.
Oh, really?
Other countries don't do that. Like, in Europe, you can't advertise, like, prescription drugs.
Well, you also don't have doctors buying yachts.
That's true.
Yeah.
You get free healthcare in most of Europe, I believe.
Most of them.
I don't know about all, but most.
I would definitely say most.
Yeah, definitely not like Russia, because there is no healthcare. It's just a bottle of vodka.
Wash it off.
Hey, man, it could work. And, like, of course, that whole, like, being able to advertise is lobbied super hard in Congress. So there's a lot of connections here.
Yeah.
And fucking congressmen only care about money. That's a fact. Politicians are all corrupt.
No, well, they're not corrupt. We just call it lobbying.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Or, like, the fucking stock stuff.
Oh my
It's like,
God.
it's not insider trading if you're a politician. It's fucking insider trading.
Nancy Pelosi will beat the S&P 500 any day of the week.
Oh my God, yeah. If you like, took the exact same thing that's happening, but gave it to like someone on Wall Street, they'd be in jail for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
But because they're in Congress, it's fine. Like,
yay.
It's so dumb. But yeah, that's that one. That's
right.
I find that one. I think that's probably maybe not all of it, but I think there's a bit of truth to it.
Yeah, I don't know about the extent of like they found the cure for cancer.
Yeah, but I do believe.
Oh, they absolutely like price gouge just for the sake of profits. They don't give a fuck who it hurts. Yeah,
and I definitely believe like they could make some of their drugs more effective against serious things, but they purposely don't because it's probably cheaper to manufacture them in the less effective way.
Yeah,
they need less of the like active ingredients and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's kind of like drug dealers, like illegal drug dealers, like cutting their drugs to make more of a profit on like the same amount of the actual drug that like gets you high.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing, just like sort of way worse because when you're buying illegal drugs, you kind of got to expect some sketchy stuff to happen. Yeah. When you're getting a fucking prescription from a doctor in a hospital and you go to a pharmacy, you're not expecting to get fucked over, but you are. You definitely are. Like, what's an EpiPen cost? $700?
Oh, it's got to be obscene.
Like, it's something like that. Yeah, I was prescribed an EpiPen after I went to the ER.
Really?
Yeah, I never went and got it, though. Yeah. Well, they fucked up anyways and prescribed me a children's one. Because they gave me a prescription for, like, extra strength Benadryl, essentially, that I still have. I haven't to take any of it, but I was like, I'm going to go get that. Because, like, just in case, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then while I was there, they were like, oh, the prescription also, like, you can also get an EpiPen. And it was only going to be like $20. But if you don't have a prescription, or like insurance, I guess, it's not really a prescription. I just have good insurance. It's a lot of money. But then they were like, oh, they fucked up and like prescribed a kid's one, so we need to fix it. And then they fixed it and called me like a week later. And you can come pick it up. And I was like, I'm too lazy. I don't need a fucking EpiPen. Like, I'll just, if anything happens, if I just take the Benadryl fast enough, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to stab myself.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't. I don't know where you're even supposed to put it.
In the thigh.
But like where in the thigh?
Just on the front.
Like anywhere?
Front or the side.
I'd put it right into my neck.
All right. You're gonna feel real better real quick.
On the elbow bone. That's where I'd try.
Gross.
I don't think I could do it.
I'm gonna inject it into my bone marrow.
Inject it straight into my veins. But like actually. Yeah, that's that one. I don't know. What do you think about that one?
I will stop short of like saying they have the cure for cancer, but absolutely they do some sketchy shit.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think they have the cure for cancer. I'm not convinced that they don't have the cure for cancer. Or like diseases on that level. Because they definitely might. Because again, we just kind of talked this last time. If you're rich enough, you get it.
Yeah.
And Magic Johnson. His AIDS has been cured.
That's true.
He's fine. But yeah. I always found that one interesting. A lot of these are more just like thought exercises.
Yeah.
More than like very real conspiracies with tons of background to them. Yeah. Unlike the two you have. Like mine are more just like, that's interesting. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Let's discuss.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming your next one has a lot to it as well, so we can jump into it.
Yeah, we're going long.
Oh wow, we are going long.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right. I'm gonna caveat with this with like, I've had people suggest this one before, and I just kind of keep pushing it off because I really don't want to talk about it. I think it's just kind of full of shit, but we're going to get into it anyway, because that's what this episode is for. So, I'm going to be talking about 9/11. And a lot of people think this is a conspiracy. And I'm guessing everyone has probably heard the jokes like either George Bush did it or like jet fuel can't melt steel beams, that type of shit.
Yeah.
So in some way, shape, or form. Generally, most theories can be wrapped up into the categories of either knew about it and let it happen on purpose.
Okay.
Or made it happen on purpose. And there are a few other miscellaneous ones, but that's like the meat of it, and certainly the famous ones.
Sure.
So there's a lot of different people involved as far as like potential culprits go. I've seen ones with not a lot of backup, but there was one where like there was an Israeli group behind it, and then they wanted to frame some terrorist group or like Al-Qaeda and shit like that. There wasn't a lot of reasoning behind it or anything, but there was like, these people did it. It was also alleged in that same vein that there were 0 Jewish people killed in the attacks, which also not true.
Yeah, I gotta believe that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, not to be racist, but not in New York.
Yeah.
Like,
also just in,
New York has a very big Jewish
with
population.
3,000 people, you're going to have...
Yeah,
like,
I just don't,
wide...
like New York specifically has a pretty big Jewish population.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident I'm not wrong.
I mean, I'm not going to say it wrong. I wasn't aware.
I think that's like a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why I said not to be racist. That's not racist at all. Just anytime I talk about something that's like not what I am, I'm like, I don't want to come off racist. Here.
Like just from a purely demographic standpoint, this is
like,
likely.
But what at least I think there's a lot of Jewish people in New York. If I'm wrong, then maybe I'm wrong. But
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are on kind of that vein where it's like this person or this group did it with not a lot of backup. But I'll get into some of like the concrete, really mainstream theories. Okay. Actually, I take it back. Not concrete, just really mainstream theories.
Okay, sure.
So the first theory, I didn't actually even know about, and it alleges that people knew the event was coming, so they inside traded the fuck out of it. And this is another one that like really got me reading. So specifically, there was an extraordinary amount of put options placed on United and American Airlines in the days leading up to 9/11, which were the 2 airlines involved.
Okay.
And a put option is essentially like something you can do if you're trying to short the stock or you're betting the stock will fall.
Right.
You're buying a contract to sell a security at a set price instead of buying it at a set price. And so, like, say you have a put option at $50 and the stock drops to $35, you can still sell it for $50 and make a $15 profit.
Right.
So now this is actually true. There wasn't like a really weird amount of activity in those stocks. And between September 6th and 7th of 2001, there were 4,744 put options contracted in United Airlines through a Chicago exchange.
Okay.
And only 396 call options. So over 10 times more in put options. And a call is just like normally buying a stock.
Right.
So on September 10th, there were 4,516 put options placed on American Airlines with a mere 748 call options. So the day before the attack. And insurance companies also saw this anomaly. So their stocks were behaving in a similar manner, as did Morgan Stanley, who occupied 22 floors of the World Trade Center. And I will admit, all of this is suspicious as fuck. I was reading through this like, holy shit.
I've never heard this one, actually.
No, I had no idea. And however, after being thoroughly analyzed, the 9/11 Commission report concluded that between the SEC investigation, the FBI investigation, and other intelligence agencies, there was no evidence that anybody like inside traded about this.
Right. I mean, it could have just been like they just thought the airline stocks were going to fall.
Yeah, exactly. And so they were able to trace back through who placed the trades and their reasoning behind it. And it was simply a coincidence. So the report found and this is a quote, a single U.S. investor purchased 95% of the put options in American Airlines on September 6th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that same investing strategy also included buying 115,000 shares in American Airlines on September 10th. End quote. So they were that investment firm was basically just betting that American Airlines was going to do better than United.
Right.
That's all they were saying.
Yeah.
And so why would they buy 115,000 shares if they also knew that
knew,
airline was going to be hijacked? And on top of that, a lot of the other trades, the remaining trades, were traced to a newsletter faxed out from an options trading agency. They would send out a newsletter every Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And they suggested a similar style of trading the Sunday before.
Okay.
Basically short this airline and bet on this airline.
Right.
So coincidental and suspicious at face value, but explainable.
Yeah.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Say with me, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. But it can. First of all, stupid ass argument. Just off the bat. Again, going to take everything, not to give a full thermodynamics lecture, but here's like my Spark Notes explanation. So Jet A1 fuel, the most common fuel used in jet airlines, and pretty much every jet that flies in today's day and age, has a combustion temperature of well over 1,000 degrees Celsius. In the newest engines on the market, like the GE9X, which is just rolled out for the new Boeing jet, the combustion temperature is over 1,300 degrees. So best case scenario for... And actually, on top of that, a maximum, like the theoretical adiabatic temperature of combustion is about 2,000 degrees Celsius for that fuel. So best case scenario fires at 2,000 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Average between 1,000 and 1,300. Okay. The open air temperature, if you just light jet fuel on fire, it's close to 1,000. Now, for structural steel, like the kind used in towers, it starts to lose its structural integrity as soon as there's like any fire. As soon as it gets warm. According to MIT, and just again, MIT, at 200 degrees Celsius, it retains 90% of its strength. At 420, nice, it's down to 60%. And at 550 Celsius, it's down to 50%.
Wow, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
At only half of the fucking combustion temperature of those fuels.
Yeah. So by the time you actually get to the temperature of the fire, you're well past the structural limit of anything holding up the building.
Yeah.
Moving on. Theorists have also suggested, almost like as a rebuttal, like, well, what about thermite? I bet they use thermite, which I don't know, is that like a commonly known compound?
I don't think so.
Okay. So thermite essentially is composed of two things, iron oxide and aluminum powder. And if you're able to ignite it, it burns like stupid hot, like 2,000 degrees Celsius plus. So you can like burn through metals and shit with that. But there's a few issues with this theory. So first of all, no evidence of this. It would also suggest that the towers were set on fire like from the inside.
Yeah.
So the suggestion came from a BYU professor named Stephen Jones and a theologian named David Ray.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know why the fuck he's weighing in on science.
Yeah, he's not allowed to talk about science.
But he is part of this.
They don't know shit.
Yeah. So he claimed that thermite compounds were found in the dust and debris. Thermite compounds. All he said. Okay. Now, what did I say thermite is made of?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Okay. God damn it.
Gotta be real straight with you.
Aluminum powder. And just out of any metal in the world, how common is aluminum?
It's fucking probably one of the most common.
All right. So in a tower 110 stories tall, do you think there would be aluminum?
There's probably a shit ton of aluminum.
The other one is iron oxide, which is rust.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right.
So they found aluminum and rust, and they were like, it's thermite.
That's exactly the type of explanation I would expect from a fucking theologist.
Yeah. So literally two of the most common metals on the planet, and especially in construction. So they found those two things and were like, yeah, this is what happened. And investigators had several rebuttals, including they would have needed an astronomical amount to bring down the towers. There's no way anyone would have...
Right, you would have seen that happen.
Yeah, there's no way it would have gone unnoticed. And the reaction of thermite is actually way too slow to do that much damage. And it's good at like burning holes and burning through things, but in order to actually create structural damage, you would need an astronomical amount of it.
Okay.
And like if you take like a giant pile of thermite on just like a steel plate, it'll just burn like a tiny hole through the middle because once there's like an avenue for all the heat to escape through, it all goes through there. Right.
It's like water, just the path of least resistance.
Yeah, so there's a reason it's not used in like demolition, for example. It's because it's way too slow of a reaction and it's not explosive in any way. So you can't. Yeah, I'm going to keep going in circles, but you can't cause structural damage with this.
Right.
And to this, they responded, "Well, what we're dealing with here is super thermite."
What does that even mean? Like, if the properties of thermite are this, super thermite
it would just be more of that.
Yeah, it wouldn't explode. It might just burn the hole faster. But it would still just burn the hole.
Yep.
And I don't know what super thermite is, but...
It's not a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's just such a cop-out. But there were also no traces of, like, thermite-style burns.
Okay. Shocker.
Yeah, right?
No shit.
Yeah, so in the 8 months of debris removal afterwards, there was no evidence of anything like that.
I think anyone that understands like chemistry would know that.
Yeah. So moving to the Pentagon. This is also a source of things, and honestly, just an even stupider argument.
Okay.
So people have claimed that it wasn't, in fact, a plane that crashed into the Pentagon that created that explosion. It was a missile, and the Pentagon's hiding it.
There's pictures.
Yeah.
Of a plane.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So in fact, it was a 757, and one person who he wasn't even like worth quoting. It was just some dude with, I think he had like a video editing background.
Okay.
He was like, no, this is fake. It's not a plane. They're covering up a missile. Okay. And his argument was, how does a plane 125 feet wide and 155 feet long fit into a hole 60 feet across? And I don't know if these
Was he taking the wingspan of the plane? Yeah. Well, that's not the right thing to do.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I think every now and then, like, kids get dropped when they're little. I think these people were, like, bowled down a flight of stairs.
Like, purposely drop kicked.
Yeah. Like, a lot of rolling, and it was just one long, continuous staircase. I don't know if they think a plane would just, like, punch a cartoon hole in the shape of a plane into a building. But no. One wing hit the ground in a surveillance video from outside the Pentagon. One wing clearly hit the ground.
Yeah.
And the other was sheared off.
Right, so...
giving you a 60-foot hole.
Yeah. Also, not to mention, a missile, it's probably not going to leave a 60-foot hole.
No.
Depending on the missile, unless it explodes the moment it touches the building, it's probably just going to go through it. The hole wouldn't be 60 feet wide.
No.
Like, obviously, depends on the type of missile. But if it explodes when it hits the building, the hole would be bigger than 60 feet, probably.
Yeah,
Not bright.
Yeah.
Not bright.
Yeah, dumb as fuck. So one thing that's never soundly addressed in any of the conspiracy theories is a motive. Like, why anyone would do anything. So, like, George Bush is always thrown under the bus for it.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant, like, a motive for, like, why the, like, terrorists did it.
Oh,
okay.
no.
You mean, like, for the conspiracy theory, like,
to be supported.
Like
There's
a why.
No motive. Yeah.
Okay.
So people throw, like, George Bush under the bus or the New World Order or the Illuminati, and they all claim they orchestrated it for their own purposes.
I was
but
about
they
to say.
never
Yeah.
explain further.
I was about to say, it's always just like, well, why'd they do it? Oh, they had their reasons. Like
what reason?
That's not how conspiracy theories work. There's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
That's like one of the biggest things in, like, crime.
Yeah, means, motive, and opportunity.
Yeah, motive is, like, one of the three.
Yeah.
Like, you need a motive.
Yeah. So, with that, I relinquish my soapbox and bring you back to our regularly scheduled bullshit.
People these days, man.
Yeah.
Or those days. All of the days.
All of the days.
People. Just people.
I hate when I go out in public and the public is there.
Humans are the worst.
They suck.
Just gonna go hang out with, like, the deer.
Yeah, that'd be a very peaceful way to live life.
It might.
I could survive for like 2 weeks and then that'd be it, and then I'd be on to whatever's next.
It'd be like Michael from The Office, where he's there for like a couple hours and he's like, it was the most traumatic experience. I almost died. It was like, nothing happened to you.
Oh, you don't like Schitt's Creek, do you?
I've only watched like the first 3 episodes.
There's one scene where one of the guys runs away, and they come from like this stupid rich family who can't fend for themselves. Okay. He like runs away, takes the car runs out of gas, and his phone dies, and he's stuck on a farm for like 3 days. And his family like finally tracks him down, and he's like, "Where were you guys?" He's like, we found you. Yeah, 3 days later. And they talked to, and he was just living on this farm. Like, it was a family living there, like feeding him and shit.
Okay.
And so they talked like, "Thank you so much for keeping him alive." And the guy goes, "I cannot stress this enough. It was miserable."
I feel, you know what's funny? Is I literally just saw a TikTok of a scene where he's like out in a field.
Yeah, like crouched down with fucking like.
They run up to like a fence and are yelling at him or something.
Yeah, it's probably.
They're like, I texted, like he texted this one of them. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't understand it because I don't watch the show, but like I literally just saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. TikTok's getting so good at listening to me. They actually predicted the future conversation that we're having now.
Yeah. You want to know what's really fucky? With like Google Homes and Alexas and shit.
Yeah.
When you say like, "Hey Alexa," it doesn't cue the microphone to start listening. It cues it to stop listening.
Ooh. Interesting. Is that true or is making
Yeah.
that? Oh,
because
okay.
how else would they know to listen for Hey Alexa?
No. I mean, you're right. Yeah. Like, I never had a fucking false pretense that they weren't always listening because they absolutely are.
They are.
For sure.
Just, that, like, confirms it.
It's another dumb theory. Well, it's not a dumb theory, but it wouldn't take a very long time to talk about what we could do.
Yeah.
That's all the theories, by the way.
That's it.
If you were planning on, like, waiting until we were done to end it, like, this is now.
Yeah, we're
done.
Now.
We are done
now
with
is, now is the time to end. Now to end.
We probably should wrap it up, though, because it actually went longer than I thought it was.
Yep, me too.
That's classic, though.
Yep. Oh, we forgot to say we have no idea how long this one's going to be.
We didn't know how long this was going to be.
Well, now we know.
We did.
Thank you for making it this far. If you guys are still listening, you guys know the drill. Follow us on Instagram at the.rabbitholepod. There you can find our links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, which is now current. Actually, I didn't think I would get that far.
It's like one of the first times we've ever had it current.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at us.
Yeah, look at us. Go team.
What's the like Paul Rudd thing? It's like
who would have thought we'd be here?
Yeah, who would have
thought? Just like cracking a beer. Not me.
It wasn't it? I thought it was like hot wings.
No,
Just cracking like hot sauce.
Yeah, was that?
It was on Hot Ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, is that what it's called?
I think it's called Hot Ones. Yeah. Where they like eat increasingly spicy wings.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, he's cracking open a sauce bottle.
He's like, look at us. Who would have thought?
Yeah, not me. Anyway, we will see you guys next time on the Rabbit Hole.